Hello everyone, I'm Yazan Ibrahim, or as some of you might know me, Yazan Abu Ghosh. Today we're going to dive into a fascinating and essential topic, Fraud Examiner Section 4, Fraud Prevention and Deterrence. 4.6, Fraud Prevention Programs Building Trust, Mastering Fraud Prevention and Ethics in Organizations. Hey there everyone, and welcome to a powerful exploration of how organizations protect themselves from the hidden threat of fraud and build a foundation of trust through ethics. Today, we're diving into the essentials of fraud prevention programs, anti-fraud policies, and ethics initiatives. Over the next 15 minutes, we'll uncover the strategies that stop deception in its tracks, the policies that set a zero-tolerance stance, and the ethical frameworks that guide behavior beyond just following the law. So, grab a seat, maybe something to jot down notes, and let's journey into creating workplaces where integrity isn't just a word, it's a way of life. Let's kick things off with the cornerstone of safeguarding any organization, fraud prevention programs. Think of a company as a bustling marketplace full of activity and opportunity, but also vulnerable to pickpockets and schemers. Fraud prevention is the security system that keeps those threats at bay, a network of policies and procedures designed to minimize the chance of fraud happening while maximizing the likelihood of catching it if it does. The mere possibility of being caught acts as a powerful deterrent, like a visible guard discouraging would-be thieves. A thorough control system isn't just a nice to have, it's the bedrock of protecting an organization's finances, reputation, and morale. Now, getting management on board with fraud prevention isn't always easy, so let's explore why they might resist and how to win their support. First, there's often a focus on other objectives. Management might be laser focused on sales or growth, underestimating fraud's sneaky nature and the massive losses that can go undetected. They might also believe fraud is an isolated issue, thinking a single court case doesn't signal broader risks. Then there's the fear of alienating the workforce. Addressing fraud head on could seem like a lack of trust in employees. But here's the counterpoint. Most workers actually prefer an ethical environment and are eager to help protect their company. So how do we overcome this resistance? Start by highlighting the bottom line impact. Fraud directly cuts into net sales and profits. Picture this. If a company earns a 20% profit on sales, losing one item to theft means they need to sell 5 more at full price just to break even. Proactive prevention is far cheaper than cleaning up after fraud, slashing costs of investigations, remediation, and prosecution while boosting the bottom line. Then there's the risk of negative publicity. Even a minor fraud case can tarnish a company's reputation, scaring off customers and investors. A strong prevention program acts as a shield against that damage by framing it as a clear cost-benefit win. Management can see fraud prevention not as a burden but as a vital investment. Let's dive into the specific procedures that make fraud prevention work, starting with increasing the perception of detection. It's often easier to prevent fraud than to catch it after the fact. The key is making everyone, employees, managers, executives, aware that detection is always possible. This can be done through proactive audit policies, anti-fraud education, mandatory vacation and job rotation rules, strong management oversight, and effective reporting programs. It's like having security cameras everywhere. Even if they're not always watched, their presence alone discourages wrongdoing. Next up are proactive audit procedures. Instead of waiting for fraud to be reported, auditors actively hunt for it using techniques like analytical reviews to spot odd trends, say, spiking expenses or unusual costs of sales. Data and transaction monitoring harness technology to flag anomalies, while fraud assessment questioning digs into risks through targeted employee interviews. Surprise audits are another powerful tool, uncovering hidden schemes and reinforcing that detection could happen at any moment. Then there's employee anti-fraud education, a non-negotiable for everyone in the organization, no exemptions. This starts at hiring and continues with annual refreshers. Managers get special training on fraud warning signs tied to their roles. It's about equipping the team with the knowledge to spot trouble before it grows. Closely related is fraud awareness training, which covers the definition, impact, and harms of fraud, not just to the company but to employees themselves. It highlights behavioral and operational red flags delivered through interactive, customized sessions. Supervisors often cascade this training to their teams, ensuring the message spreads wide. Monitoring and analysis form another pillar, focusing on detecting anomalies early to prevent high-risk transactions. This means keeping an eye on financial trends, operational risks, and systemic issues, catching small discrepancies before they balloon into major losses. Reporting and punishment are critical to close the loop. Employees need to know how to report fraud anonymously and safely, and that severe consequences like termination or prosecution await those who cross the line. It's a clear message. Fraud won't be tolerated. Mandatory vacations and job rotation are clever tactics as well. Fraud often comes to light when perpetrators are away, unable to cover their tracks. Enforcing time off or shifting roles disrupts ongoing schemes, acting as a natural check. Lastly, effective management oversight means keeping tabs on unusual employee behaviors, think extravagant lifestyles on modest salaries, and setting clear performance goals to discourage unethical shortcuts. It's about staying vigilant without micromanaging. Now, let's zoom in on red flags to watch for. Financial or transactional signs include increased costs or abnormal account trends. Behavioral clues might be unusual relationships, defensiveness, or reluctance to share duties or take vacations. Spotting these early can stop fraud before it escalates. Shifting gears, let's focus on reporting programs, a lifeline for detecting fraud. Anonymous reporting channels like ethics hotlines are essential. They must guarantee anonymity or confidentiality where legally allowed, ensuring employees trust they can report without retaliation. Reports need prompt, thorough evaluation, and employees should know they don't have to go through immediate superiors. Options like hotlines or online forms provide direct paths. The message is clear: fraud, waste, and abuse hurt everyone, and reporting is encouraged. When it comes to hotlines, there are different setups. Part-time in-house hotlines are cost-effective but limited in accessibility, and employees might fear reporting internally. Full-time in-house options offer 24/7 availability but at a high cost, with similar reluctance issues. Third-party hotlines strike a balance: cost-effective, efficient, anonymous, and available around the clock, though the company loses some direct control. Each has trade-offs, but the goal remains the same: make reporting easy and safe. Encouraging reporting can also involve rewards. Incentives, whether monetary or non-monetary, like public recognition or a lunch with executives, motivate whistleblowing. These should only be given for verified wrongdoing, with policies reviewed by legal counsel to prevent abuse. Whistleblower support and protection are just as crucial. Fear of retaliation through termination, demotion, harassment, or blocked promotions is a major barrier. Legal protections vary by country, with some offering anti-retaliation laws for reinstatement or damages. Organizations must step up with clear anti-retaliation policies, educating employees on safe reporting and enforcing zero tolerance for backlash. This encourages internal reporting over external leaks to the media, strengthening trust. ISO 37002-2021 guidelines reinforce this with a framework for receiving, assessing, addressing, and concluding whistleblowing cases, promoting transparency and accountability. Another foundational element is the tone at the top. Management's commitment to ethics sets the stage for an anti-fraud culture. They must demonstrate zero tolerance for unethical behavior, model integrity, and encourage employees to voice concerns without fear. When employees see leaders as ethical and supportive, they're far less likely to commit fraud. Organizational structure plays a role too. Clear hierarchies and reporting lines reduce fraud opportunities. Tools like flowcharts help communicate structure, ensuring information flows properly and no one operates in a silo. Background checks are a proactive step, conducted pre-employment and periodically for fraud-prone roles. These cover employment history, criminal records, drug screening, references, education, and certifications, identifying risks before hiring or promotion. Performance management ties into this as well. Ethical behavior starts with realistic goals. Regular reviews prevent excessive pressure, while ethics training and career support reinforce values. Including ethics-based metrics in evaluation sends a strong signal, though unrealistic targets tied to compensation can backfire, pushing employees toward fraud. When fraud is uncovered, a zero-tolerance policy must be enforced. Clear, severe consequences deter future acts, and reporting incidents publicly within legal bounds shows accountability. Minimizing employee pressures is another prevention angle. Financial hardships or personal issues can drive fraud. Open-door policies let employees discuss challenges, while prompt grievance resolution avoids feelings of unfairness that might justify wrongdoing. Fair personnel policies are equally vital. Disgruntled employees may rationalize fraud if they feel mistreated. Consistent, fair enforcement, along with recognition and career development, boosts morale and reduces those rationalizations. Employee support programs offer practical help with financial, family, or addiction issues. This reduces pressures that lead to fraud and shows management cares, fostering loyalty and cutting down on excuses for bad behavior. Let's now turn to the anti-fraud policy itself, a critical document in any prevention program. This policy outlines responsibilities and sets a zero-tolerance stance. signaling management's commitment to ethics. It applies to everyone, from staff to executives, defining fraud and stating that violators face disciplinary action. Management holds ultimate responsibility but may delegate oversight to roles like the Chief Compliance Officer. Employees must cooperate in investigations, report suspicious activity, and share in prevention efforts. The policy specifies actions constituting fraud, misuse of assets, theft, forgery, bribery, conflicts of interest, or misstating financials. It also covers non-fraud irregularities like personal improprieties with clear resolution protocols. Reporting procedures direct employees to established channels, while investigation responsibilities are assigned to specific roles like management or legal counsel with authority to examine any records. Confidentiality is maintained, and disciplinary actions range from warnings to termination, law enforcement reporting, or legal action for recovery. Communication of the policy happens through orientation, annual training, leadership memos, and interactive methods like quizzes to ensure awareness. Legal counsel ensures the policy addresses offenders uniformly and defines unacceptable conduct clearly. Finally, let's explore ethics programs, which go hand in hand with fraud prevention by guiding behavior beyond just legal rules. Ethics are principles rooted in personal beliefs and morals, shaping judgments of right and wrong. Social values influence individual choices, though moral standards shift over time and vary across groups, making ethical decisions complex. Employees' ethical choices are shaped by several factors. Laws and regulations set a baseline, but legality doesn't equal ethics. Legal actions can still be unfair or dishonest. Industry and organizational codes provide formal guidelines, while social pressures sway perceptions. Conflicts between personal standards and organizational needs often create dilemmas requiring deeper moral reasoning. Ethics policies in organizations communicate a philosophy of integrity, forming the foundation of ethics programs. Shared with employees, vendors, and sometimes the public, these policies reinforce commitment, help identify breaches, and encourage reporting. Ethics aren't fixed. While some believe they're set in childhood, modern business ethics programs lean on the idea that adult behavior can evolve through reflection, training, and policies. In today's world, public mistrust of business underscores the need for strong workplace ethics. Organizations respond with codes of conduct, ethics training for employees and management, and dedicated ethics offices. Developing an effective program means understanding why good people might act unethically, defining core values, communicating them clearly, prioritizing ethical issues at the leadership level, and considering diverse stakeholder views on success. A robust ethics program includes 12 key components. Ethical leadership sets the tone from the top, supported by a vision statement of clear goals and a values statement of core principles. A detailed code of ethics guides conduct, overseen by a designated ethics official and supported by a task force or committee. Communication strategies promote awareness, while ethics training educates staff. Helplines or hotlines allow anonymous reporting, and a reward sanction system reinforces accountability. Data monitoring tracks compliance, and periodic evaluations assess progress. As we close this journey, let's reflect on the bigger picture. Fraud prevention and ethics programs aren't just about stopping bad actors. They're about building trust, protecting resources, and fostering a culture where integrity thrives. From proactive audits and anonymous hotlines to zero-tolerance policies and ethical leadership, every piece works together to safeguard organizations. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts or questions, and let's continue exploring how to build workplaces rooted in accountability and trust together. Thank you for watching, and as always, continue learning, stay curious, and we'll see you next video.